is significantly dependent on the exchange rate. You can't fault that because it's so clear, you know. The question therefore should be, in order for us to make the petroleum industry or the petroleum downstream sector attractive to investors, first of all, you should liberalize the market and make it easy for people to come in and invest, okay? In order to do that, people who, for example, I'm aware that over 30 companies have received licenses to set up refineries over the years. 65 licenses, and not one of them has started producing. The reason is very simple. People who are going to produce, they probably need to borrow money to set up this plant. They borrow the money and then they produce, and then the government that is supervising their activities says that, oh, you cannot sell at the market price and make a profit. You can only sell below this price. The difference we will pay to you, okay, as subsidy. Because we don't want the price of petrol, knowing fully well it has an instigatory impact on all other products. So we are going to tell you, you will not produce or you will not sell above this price. That is what regulation is all about. And because of that, those people who are putting their money will say, if we have to look at the history, we find that those who have imported petrol, not even set up refinery, imported petrol, it takes maybe 1 year, 2 years for them to get back their subsidy. Especially when the investors are people who have taken money from abroad and they have to repatriate it. So it should not surprise you that all those 60 licensees for refineries, they are not fools because they say, I borrow money, I produce, and then somebody says you must sell it at this price and get it. I'm not going to. That is simple, okay? Look at it from this point of view. You have a situation in the market where you have, maybe I should use this example. Let's assume that we earn $1 billion in 1 month, which is distributable to the 3 tiers of government because government owns the money, okay? And then you find that $1 billion, somebody captures the $1 billion. Somebody, please listen carefully. Somebody captures the $1 billion and prints in exchange 360 billion naira. And then they divide this 360 billion naira to the 3 tiers of government. Okay? The 3 tiers of government have no choice but to domicile this money either in the Treasury single account or in commercial banks. If they put it in the Treasury single account, ultimately it will filter back to the commercial banks once the MDA start to spend the money. So what you find is that you now have 360 billion in money, fresh money in the open market. When you now have 360 billion naira in the money market, okay, and you have what they call a cash reserve ratio, meaning that you must keep 22% of your liquid assets as cash. So it means that the banks themselves can leverage on that 360 billion almost 4 or 5 times. So that translates to almost about 1.5 trillion. Your 360 billion naira has translated to 1.5 trillion because of the cash reserve ratio that is permissible to the banks as a way of providing money to lenders. Okay? 1.5 trillion naira now is in the market. Meanwhile, and I want you to listen to this very carefully, 1.5 trillion came out of 360 billion. Now, the same central bank that is playing this hanky-panky now brings 200 million, not billion, $200 million to the market to sell in a market that is now having a naira quantum of 4 or 5 times the value of the 200 million. So you now find that once they start saying we will auction this small quantity of dollars in a market that have already suffocated with so much naira, the naira exchange rate has no way to go but down. Simple. This is not rocket science or anything, you know. So when you find that for example, let me ask you a good question. Why would you, as central bank, put it this way, would you borrow money or would you borrow dollars when you have an excess of it in the account? The answer is no, it doesn't make sense. So why do you keep quiet when government is saying we want to go and borrow $1 billion, $2 billion from JP Morgan and Co and all those people? Meanwhile, the government's chattel, a chattel, you know what a chattel is? Of course, it's servant, yeah? Your own chattel is sitting on $40-something billion. And you say, ignore that one. No, that one is for him to defend the naira. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? And then they now go into the market aggressively. Meanwhile, the places where they are going to borrow the $1 billion are probably the same places where your own central bank is domiciling their own $40-something million. Are we well? In 1998, 99 or thereabouts, when my Abacha was living, and Abacha ran the country with $4 billion worth of reserves, which was only supposed to be 4 months import cover, and the exchange rate remained at 18 naira to $1 for those 4 years, and we had not more than $4 billion. $4 billion. And the exchange rate remained at 18 naira to $1. Now we came to a point where we had $60 billion worth of reserves, and we were told that that 60 billion would keep us for 27, 25 months, 26, 30 months import cover. When the 4 billion we had during Abacha's time could only cover us for 4 months, and yet the exchange rate remains stable at 18 naira to $1. Now, think of it when you now have $60 billion and you have been misinformed that, oh, we have 36. A lot of people even said it at that time, that we have 36 months import cover. Did your exchange rate improve? If you have 36 months import cover compared to 4 months, shouldn't you have a stronger exchange rate? That is the nonsense they keep preaching, and people are swallowing it. It is not global. It is mainly directed to the foolishness of African governments. When you look at it, you find it's mainly African governments who pretend, who behave like this. The government will never be able to create buffers. I can assure you that. Because it doesn't work that way. You see, look, a buffer, a government that has steadily deepened itself in debt over the years, despite excess surplus income which was earned from oil over the years. So you don't have to believe what they say. They are counting on gullible people, and there are millions and millions of gullible people in Nigeria. For example, why haven't you asked the question, why are we borrowing $1 billion from abroad when central bank is sitting on $40-something billion? Why is the central bank continuously mopping up what they call excess liquidity? To mop up what is excess is to try to clean up the space. Okay, and if you are mopping up excess liquidity, it means you have surplus naira. And when they say they mop up excess liquidity, it's not for free. They borrow their own money from the banks, just like in the foreign exchange market. We borrow what we have in excess. We have dollars in excess, and we are going to borrow dollars at X amount, 7%, 10%, or whatever. Meanwhile, our own dollars of 40-something is only earning 1 or 2% interest. This is the reason why I say they count on the gullibility of the populace. And unfortunately, there isn't much attempt for the populace itself to free themselves from that ignorance, and this is real. Look, I ask you again, would you borrow what you have in excess at 7%? Obviously no. So why would you tolerate it in your country? The government can never take away subsidy until they realign the exchange rate of the naira. It's so simple. So the question you are striving to ask me should be, how do they make the naira stronger? Maybe I can articulate it for you. Because, seriously, because that's where we're at. It's not that the naira is weak by itself. I'm telling you that the central bank and the government are deliberately, consciously weakening the naira by the process of capturing the dollars, by the process whereby central bank captures the dollar, prints naira in replacement. That naira jams the cash reserve ratio in the banks, explodes the liquidity supply of money supply of a naira, and consequently requires that the central bank goes back to the same market to borrow what it put there at 10-15%, not because they want to use the money they are borrowing, but just to keep it idle and stop inflation from rising. Because once inflation starts rising, the exchange rate will fall, the price of fuel will continue to go high. The same way is the reverse of the way that you make the naira weak. What's the way you make the naira weak? Create plenty naira supply, then auction rations of dollars in this market that is suffocated with naira. That's how you weaken the naira. So it has no relevance to how much dollars you are earning. The same reverse, if you want to change it so you can have a stronger naira, all you have to do, stop somebody capturing the dollar revenue and giving you naira. Distribute the naira revenue that you're going to share as dollar certificates. Once you do that, you reduce money, you reduce naira supply. Once you reduce naira supply, you'll now find a situation where it looks like dollars are running after the naira. You have to change the whole thing. The naira becomes stronger. Once the naira is stronger, you don't need subsidy. You create an enabling environment. An enabling environment in any economy for that wants diversification, improvement, growth, and things like that, must stand on a platform of legs. The legs on which it must stand are the legs of what they call inflation, interest rate, cost of funds, and exchange rate. If you mismanage those three, forget about it. You can look at Venezuela. Venezuela, they are one of the biggest reserves of oil. Okay? But because they themselves were foolish enough to start printing their own currency anyhow, suddenly the whole place was flooded with local Venezuelan currency, which they started auctioning to against the dollar. So you have the same problem. And we are going that way. Mind you, we are going that way because once you have chosen your own parameters, your path is defined. It is not the government's work to be developing businesses and things like that, okay? The government is expected to create an enabling environment. The reality is that you cannot have, whether in the successful operation of the petroleum industries bill or this or that, without the pillars. I am emphasizing, and I want you to think. The three legs. Without that one, forget about it. The government itself cannot. Look, the government is supposed to collect income from people as taxes and things like that. Where will the taxes come from if all industries are collapsing and people are being sent out of work? On the other hand, if government is able to say inflation is 1 or 2%, okay, what do you think that would immediately mean? It would mean that instead of you and I losing 10% of our purchasing income every year, and in 5 years losing 50% of our purchasing income, we'll only be losing maybe 10% of our purchasing income. What does that imply for industrialists? It means that their production schedule can be stable. They can continue to employ people as before. But if, on the other hand, inflation is jumping between 10 to 15 to 18% or something like that, you will remain a poor man for a long time, no matter whatever indices we are showing, because inflation is a determinant of the cost of borrowing. You wouldn't lend me 1 million naira at 10% and get 1.1 million in a year's time when inflation is at 20%. You would have lost. If you now have your own government borrowing back its own money at 15 or 20%, why would the banks want to do any work? Because government investments are safe and secure. So for you to be competing in the market for the funds that are available there and creating a problem for the real sector, who you are expecting will expand the cotton industry, the food industry, this one industry, automobile industry, the petroleum industry, motor industry, they are all the same. They are driven by the same factors. Okay, and the factors that drive them is demand, and you cannot get demand when the money you earn is continuously eroded by inflation.
Programs, good reports, etc., etc. There's no reason why a woman should not be able to lead in the newsroom. I don't think it is about gender. I think it's about capacity. I think it's about ability. I think it's about competence. So if you put in the hours and you do the work, I don't see any reason why your work should not speak for you.
Concerning the Nigeria's political terrain at this point in time and the role women should play, most have actually called for more women role politically, especially in the Ninth National Assembly. What are your views on these?
I think it has also, I think we have also reached a point where many more women should be active politically. I think we have passed the time where women are given token positions. Women, I think, who are interested in politics, who really want to serve, who really want to make a difference, should have an opportunity to make their contributions within the party, because as it is now, if you're not an active member of the party, then you're really not going to be able to represent anything or anybody. So what I think we need is parties that have strong structures, that parties that pay more than lip service to internal democracy, so that anybody, whether male or female, who has a contribution to make, who can actually serve and who can do something to make a positive difference to the lives of the ordinary man and woman in the street, then they should be given that opportunity. Again, we should look beyond gender. If a woman can do it, then she should be given the opportunity. It's as simple as that.
Thank you very much for the insightful analysis. Let's get this. What will be your advice for female reporters in the newsroom as far as aspiring for positions of leadership is concerned in the newsroom? And what will also be your advice for management themselves in getting more female to be to take on more responsibilities within the newsroom?
Well, let me start with my advice for management, as you have asked, because that's actually where it is more important. Management of media houses have to recognize that if there is a business strategy for your media house which does not incorporate women, it is a poor business strategy. It has to incorporate women in terms of reporting women, in terms of reflecting women, in terms of reporting so-called mainstream issues through a gender lens, issues of economics, issues of politics, issues around crime, all have to be reported through a gender lens. If not, it's poor editorial policy. Now, to be able to do that better, you also need more women in your newsroom. So actually, management has a bigger role to play than the individual women reporters. Of course, we say to the individual women reporters, be bold, be fearless. Don't be held back by stereotypes. Don't assume that the beats or topics that you can report are only fashion and cookery. Step out for economics, for politics, for defense, for security, for crime, for judiciary. Step out for those, but as I said earlier, management has to realize that it is important to give women the rights to do so. And I always give an example. One of the reasons why CNN has such fantastic women working for them today and nobody notices that they are women is because the CNN management did not see anything wrong with Christine Amanpour reporting the war, the first Gulf War. They didn't see anything wrong with it. So because she demonstrated that she can do it regardless of the fact that she's a woman, today we have Hala Gorani, we have Nima Albagi, we have Becky Anderson, and nobody remembers that they're women. So that's the really important thing. The management has to take a deliberate decision and say all competent women will be given the right to report on every area where they have competence, regardless of the fact that they're women.
How about for female reporters themselves?
Well, as I said earlier, the female reporters have to be bold and step out and not accept stereotypical assignments given to them to go and report on women's issues. You know, men are already conditioned not to accept being assigned to go and report on anything called men's issues. So there is no reason why women reporters and journalists should accept being conditioned to go and report on women's issues.
Yeah, one final thought for concerning the Nigerian's political terrain. What advice would you give for women who are in the Ninth National Assembly as far as aspiring for positions of responsibility or getting their voice heard more in the Senate is concerned, or National Assembly is concerned?
Well, the first thing that all female politicians should aim to do is to bring down all those obstacles that prevent more women from being in politics. It's really crucial. I always give the example. 43% of all girls and women across board in Nigeria are forced into what is described as child marriage. That immediately takes away from those 43% their right to freedom of assembly, their right to freedom of association, their right to freedom of expression, their right to participate in politics. 43% taken out of the equation straight away. That means that in terms of numbers, there are already less women vote for women. There are already less women that are going to come out and contest. If you are a woman politician and you have been elected, you have to make sure that that is one of the issues that you address, not just because it affects women in politics, but also because it affects women in economics. Because if you exclude half or more of women from economic activity, the overall poverty level rises. And when overall poverty level rises, overall potential for conflict goes up with it. So it always makes sense to work to include women in politics, in economics, in business, in society. So I would say to women politicians and men politicians, this is what the Ninth Assembly has to work for.
It has actually been outlined about the challenges women or females have to contend with in the newsroom. Based on some of this, what advice would you like to give to female reporters or journalists across board on what they should be doing now to aspire for more leadership role, especially within the newsroom?
Okay, I'll start with the female reporters because you want me to address that first. I think that it is to know that your skills are good, your reporting is good. Be conscious that you're a leader and you're in your space, you can do something. Doesn't matter what society has said in the past. It doesn't matter what parents have said, what culture, what even religion has told you. You can own your space. You can do well when you own your space. But the larger advice is to everyone is to understand that there's a social conditioning for both the male and the female person that has gone on for too long. And except we attack this social conditioning, not much will change. The man feels that he's superior to the female person. It is a conditioning that has happened for too long. And we need to approach it from the part that this man is conditioned. The woman has been told that you are less than the woman than the man for so long. She has been conditioned to believe that. We also have to approach her in such a way that, well, that was not true. And together, society has to be more intentional about changing the narrative about girls and women in society.
Considering changing the narrative, some have called for more female women role in the leadership of the country politically. And considering the National Assembly, what role should those who are actually politicians, especially women politicians, play as far as aspiring for position of leadership is concerned in the Ninth National Assembly?
Well, currently the gods are the fathers right now. It's a godfather's world right now. And because our democracy is also really not what it should be yet, and the institutions are not strong enough, we do need to legislate. We do need to put in place that minimum requirement for women participation. We do need to legislate the education of the child, whether male or female. Because if we do not take those social, cultural, those social development dynamics into consideration, we will all suffer it. We will all suffer it because of what is happening in the Northeast now. When children bear children, they can't take care of them. So if we do not legislate, perhaps because of our religion or our culture, that children cannot get married, children cannot be married away, then who are going to become the senators? who are going to become the presidents. They've been given up in marriage at 10. They've been given up in marriage at 12. So really, as a society, we do need to change the way that we're looking at things, because at the end of the day, we are all going to suffer for it.
Thank you very much for your time.
I generally will not introduce myself to people I don't know. So I don't think that's a problem. Well, I'm a musician, a father. What else? I'm a Pan-Africanist, socialist. I mean, I think that's the core of my being. That's basically, yeah. I think those four descriptions are a bit accurate. No, it's just simple. It's translation from Yoruba to English. Eyenla, big bird. Finish. My nickname I just wrote it in English. Or maybe it's because I'm also initiated into the ancestral secrets of our people. They turn to bed for night. Momandi, music has always been many things to me, not just one thing. Music is a way of life, is a job. Music is a political tool. Music is, now, tomorrow, yesterday. Music is everything. I mean, to someone like me, my life is my life started inside music. I grew up in a very musical space. So yeah, I can say music is everything. Someone like me. Yeah, the process, yeah, of course, it's called hunger. When hungry catch me, I'll go and write a song quickly before it gets serious. I think, that's what drives everybody to do his job. If not, people will not release albums. We'll just sit down and play our music. But we have deals to make. I think that, let me be honest, you've committed yourself to a contract. You have to fulfill the contract. Me, I don't have any rituals before I can write my song or need to write my music. Most of my songs, I already hear it in my mind, so I just put it down. I think if you have to look for inspiration, then you're not living the right way. My existence is inspiring. What is relevant to me inspires me. The things that I take as important, serious, that move me, that drive me, there's inspiration in all of those things. So when people always try to say they are looking for inspiration, it's because they live a fake life. So their reality cannot inspire. Their life and their art is not the same, so their reality cannot inspire their art, so they need to look for the inspiration. Oh, I make Afrobeat music. If I would say it generally, I'd say I make political music, But for me, say I make political music doesn't make sense, because everything in the world is political. So I would just say I make Afrobeat music, The Afrobeat music is something that my father created to represent the people. Afrobeat is the voice of motherland people all over the world. It's our reality, our existence, what the majority of us go through, and that is what my father was looking to convey when he started singing Afrobeat music. He was looking to convey the pains, the aspirations, the hopes, the dreams, the general existence and reality of motherland people all over the world, Well, I don't know about Afrobeats, but if for Afrobeat music, I think generally the DNA of the music is there. It is a genre on its own. if I'll be really honest, I wouldn't say there is a progression or sequence that defines Afrobeat. I think that was the reason why Fela wanted to play Afrobeat, being a jazz artist, then playing high life, then coming to play Afrobeat music, because every other thing was sequenced, very planned, and my dad just wanted something that was completely expressive, something that you could just make in a certain key without following any previous guidelines and express yourself. So I wouldn't say there's a certain, this is the catch, I wouldn't say there's a certain sequence or progression that defines Afrobeat music, but when you hear it, you know it's Afrobeat music. Many Nigerians playing Afrobeat. Oh man, in different forms. I mean, there's Dede, there was Lagbaja, there's a guy that came here yesterday called Eddie Lanky, there's AK-47, there are a few bands, they all come out doing celebration, you know. Nigerians don't support them, that's a different thing entirely. Whether they are successful is another thing entirely, you know. But they do exist, they're out there. I didn't make the album in the studio, I'd already written the album. We had been playing the album for like almost a year before we recorded it. Afrobeat music goes more from like stage to studio, not studios to stage, like most other genres. I think that's another thing about Afrobeat music. Many Fela fans will tell you that, you know, we've been hearing the songs at the shrine for maybe a year or two before Fela records it. And when Fela records it, he stops playing it. Well, I think there was just a big misunderstanding, a mishap of epic proportions. I was put on a Emirates flight earlier that my band took. Even though I told my manager and my agent I wanted to leave on the Air France flight at night, we had a whole hour discussion about that. I think people just generally forgot to change my flight. So by the time I got to the airport, there was no ticket. It was 11 p.m. It was too late to call the agent or even do anything. Everything had closed, you know. So well, I think as you know, the Nigerian people have been removed from politics from a long time. For maybe 35 years, we were banned from politics by the military government. So for me, every election cycle, I see us engaging more and improving in our understanding and our engagement. I wouldn't say Nigerians are politically astute yet, and I won't say we understand the system that we are under completely. But yeah, I mean, for the first time also we had independent candidates and we had so many options and we had such a vibrant electoral process, you know. And I think it can only get better. Also, the onus now falls on we, the Nigerian people, who still want to see a better Nigeria, to make sure that we do everything in our power to make that happen, to take Nigeria serious, you know, make it important to us, like our job. You know, many people always say they don't engage politically or they're not activists because they are afraid to die, you know, but going out in Nigeria alone is one of the most dangerous things you can do in this world. But people do not say because the Nigerian road is dangerous, they can die of accident, trailer can fall on your head, trailer can explode and kill all of you in your car, anything can happen, that because of that they will not go out and look for food or go out and hustle because they can die. But they always use that as an excuse when it comes to liberating our country. So it's just because people don't really see the benefit of liberating the country. They don't understand that the benefit of liberating Nigeria is more than the benefit of going out to hustle on our dangerous roads. Anyway, I even feel going out to hustle in Nigeria, just living your life, is more dangerous than engaging in political activism or liberation movements. Why do we always have to use young presidential, old presidential? There's no such thing. This youth noise is something created by our elites, by our political and business elites to divide us more. There's no youth in Nigeria, there's no old, and it's the people versus the elites. Case closed. Either you are with the people or you are not. There's no old, there's no youth, there are so many young people that are also destroying Nigeria effectively, working hand in hand. Who are the aides, the PAs, the drivers, the cooks, the money launderers, the pimps? They are young people for the elites that do all this job for them. So let we as young people not act like saying youth is some kind of cleansing word that suddenly makes you viable for presidential power or political post, or suddenly makes you innocent in the trauma that is Nigeria. People are involved in all age groups, and the sooner we abandon such divisive ideas. They were candidates, they were good candidates, independent candidates. I've already described them. Don't call them youths. And they are older than me. So how can they be youths? I'm 36. What everybody did well except Obi Ezekweli, who was very woeful, I have to say. And I'm happy to say that because I predicted that she was going to be like that. And she was. Other than our own team, that they ended up fighting over where the money was and things like that. I think the other parties kind of gave a good account of themselves. You see, in this new era that we have, we cannot allow for people to play on us the way the people that were already fighting have played on us and established and entrenched their power in Nigeria. You understand? So let's hold the feet of all these our new political aspirants to the fire. When people do what Obi Ezekweli has done and our party, we should shun them, we should call them out, we should let them know we know what they've done, and a lot of people work for them, and they just destroyed all that hard work based on some kind of internal money cost. We cannot accept that. We should call it out. Moghalu did great. I think Showore did great as well. It is not yet Uhuru. I would personally say I would not say their strategy was the best, but this is not the place to discuss that. But yeah, we did something. You see, for me, this is what is important. I don't want people to criticize people like Showore because they didn't win or lose or anything like that. We cannot judge ourselves by such parameters anymore. When people say to me, "Oh, you are doing Nigeria resistance movement. What difference does it make?" I say, at least we are doing something. That's the difference it made. If we didn't do anything, there will be nothing done. The fact that we are doing something is the difference that it has made. We've done something, In as much as I really want to see the Chibok girls brought back home, we would do ourselves a great disservice as a people if we only call out the Chibok girls as the atrocity that is going on in Nigeria. More people than the Chibok girls have been kidnapped individually since the Chibok girls has happened. People have been killed in their kidnap that they can't find. I'm sure there are more people missing in this country right now. OD, we've still not gotten justice. This is why I know that it is not a youth old. It is we, the people of Nigeria, not taking ourselves seriously. We've been indoctrinated to believe that we don't matter, and we believe it. That's why somebody like Obasanjo that has committed 2 genocides in this country can be writing letters and we take it serious without calling for justice for our brothers and sisters that he has murdered when he was president. It's when we let these people get away with this kind of bloody crimes, and bloodletting, we generally also let them realize that when we say Chibok girls, it's just lip service. We do ourselves a great disservice when we act like Chibok girls is the only disaster in this country. And the only reason why we act like it's the only disaster in this country is because it's the only thing we can say that Europeans validate. Because the Europeans have also accepted Chibok girls as a disaster. So that's a European validated disaster. So it's the disaster everybody wants to talk about, as if it's the only disaster that is worthy of talking about. Chibok girls is bad, it's terrible, but it's not the only thing we have to see the end of. We are being murdered wholesale in this country by both official security agents and unofficial security agents. Our roads are killing us by the thousands. We have people dying in the hospital waiting rooms because they have no money to pay for hospital card, because they have no money for drugs. People that we have not employed. You understand? So atrocities happen every second in this country, but we accept it because Oyibo said that one is acceptable. Oyibo has told you that you dying in your hospitals is acceptable, dying on the roads, not having houses, living on the street like vagabonds. Look at yesterday, political thuggery between people that work for which I don't even know who they are. I just saw the pictures of people slain and killed. Yeah. So it's not only the Chibok girls. The question is, are we going to see the end of any of these crises in 5 years? Any of these things that affect us? Are we going to, because it is the job of these people to bring a solution to it, not just to the one their organs in Europe and America has approved. That is atrocity. Everything that happens to us is an atrocity. It's just a shame that we do not see it that way. There's no problem with SARS. If you think there's a problem with SARS, then there's a problem with you. SARS is doing exactly what they are paid to do. They're doing exactly what they are giving order to do. I mean, the fact that we as Nigerian people suddenly start acting today as if SARS just started oppressing people yesterday is a shame. It's just because now some little boys can buy phone and, put their news out there. It's happening to people in the villages, even worse every second. We are burning old women that they turn from bed. This video camera that is catching, police is beating us, Abi? Abi? SARS is molesting you. But you have also killed the old woman that she turned from human being to bed. And you didn't even have evidence. Your camera phone did not catch her turning from from bed to human being. But you all gather, you Christians and Muslims, and you lynch, you beat the person to death. We don't understand the psychology behind our attitude and our behavior, but we're going to cry victim. SARS is a manifestation of our own acceptance of our dehumanization. Me, SARS cannot molest somebody on my street. If I see police beating somebody, no matter what I'm doing, I will go and meet them. I will put hand and fight the police immediately. Because I'm saying people don't take themselves seriously enough. It's not a matter of hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is knowing better and doing worse. You understand? We don't know any better. You see, the same mindset that make you born an old woman that she's a witch, or somebody steal 20 naira and you beat him to death. Why politicians are living on your street, you've not burnt their house. You know this person is a politician on your street too. You've not attacked him before, but you've burnt an old woman to death. It's that same mentality that is making SARS shoot you to death and beat you to death. We as working class poor people cannot take anybody's personal benefit or personal development as our collective development, except the person is dedicating that development or benefit to us, But they will always want you to live vicariously through them. That's how the society wants you to see things. So let me just learn. So when you do Yahoo, except you are engaging in some form of revolutionary socialism or Pan-Africanism and investing or engaging with your community, you are a criminal. That's all you are. Don't say you are taking money from. And I understand, I don't judge crime or criminality. That's another discussion entirely. Crime and criminality and judging, that's not my duty or my job. But I will not let you now come and sit down to me and act like you are a noble person. That will not happen. It's the same way Dangote or Tedola or Buhari or Sibanjo cannot sit next to me and act like they are doing something. It's the same way you as a young person committing crime cannot sit and act like you are doing something if you are not. Well, it's been very tough. Fela has been gone for 20-something years now. You know, this is 2019, so 22. You know, picking with the bond self, right? And don't the way. Serious don't involve for in life. You know, so yeah, it's been a long time. I mean, I think that is my own greatest achievement in my life, apart from my daughter and apart from my family. I have to say my greatest achievement is even more than my Grammy nomination or my recognition by the French government as a chevalier, and they gave me knighthood and all that. Even greater than all that is the fact that the Egypt is still existing. I'm not a legacy-driven person. I don't chase legacy. But at least I've given them their first Grammy nomination. You know, people always forget that the band, they did 49 albums with Fela. No Grammy nomination. We've done 4 now, we have 1. So that at least I've added something to the story of Egypt 80. They can't say I left them how I met them. We watch mafia film and we all want to be mafia and Don and mafioso because white crime is fine. But 5 Nigerian boys go and do some real mafia in Dubai, all of you are saying they disgrace you. You are trying to downgrade them. You are trying to insult them, trying to disown them, which is wrong. It's wrong because I'm sure if it was some 5 white boys that did that, we will all be hailing them. Hey, our boys are bad. We want more money. What plan? What say bad? What shall we are all done in our homes. To our friends, we all have criminal nickname. You know, everybody is a mafia don. Everybody wants to be a gangster. Until gangster shit happens, then it's a problem. So, as black people, as motherland people, one thing we have to know is that we are entitled to be everything that humanity is, especially the bad, and still be considered human beings. No matter what you do, you are still a human being. This is what humans do. Humans kill, steal, rape, rob, murder, pillage. I mean, we are the only group, and we have to remove this from our mindset, that one person that you don't know will do something and you say you are feeling ashamed and you start apologizing to the world on behalf of the action. As when the white people apologize to the world on behalf of George Bush and the 3 million people he killed in Iraq, or on behalf of Sarkozy and Obama and the 2 million they've killed in Libya, or that they are killing in Yemen right now and in Syria. When did they, I mean, murder, pillage, Abu Ghraib prison, did you see what the American soldiers did there? When did white people come outside to say they are ashamed of themselves for such behavior? King Leopold, 10 million people he killed in Congo Democratic Republic. I'm not saying this is the king of the Belgian people, officially representing Belgian people. Killed 10 million people, remove hands, breasts, took children from there. When did white people ever come to say they are ashamed of themselves? It's only we are, your friend is gay, suddenly you are ashamed on his behalf, and then you now think he's no longer a human being because he's doing something that people do. This is what people do. If people do it, if you are black, you are entitled to do it too, and still, it is not a right for anybody to discriminate against you. As long as the law courts have not held you liable to anything, then you are good. You are good to go. You understand me? We as human beings, we are entitled to all the flaws of humanity, as well as all its graces, and still be considered humans. That's something that is important.
Hi, this is Fioki, the guitarist, #1 recording guitarist in Africa, Nigeria. I'm from Akwa Ibom State, based in Lagos. And this is just me, as you can see. Okay, Fioki was derived from my name, Ifiok. Ifiok is my real name. Ifiok means wisdom. So if you take I off from Ifiok, you get I-F-I-O. Okay, then I added double E to it. So that's why I got Fioki. Yeah, I started music when I was very young, in my tender age, when I was like 6, 7, from children choir. They used to teach us then, so far, mirrored. Then I never played instruments, so we used to sing. Before you sing any words, they would translate it to so far notation first, before you start singing. So we teach you, so far, mirrored, before you now put the words, glory be to God Almighty, or something like that. So I never knew that was a very good foundation for me for music. So I could sing to any language, be it Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa. If you just sing any song in Hausa, all I needed to do was just to write the notes. Even if I don't sing, I don't know how to sing the language. So immediately after I got to meet my teacher, guitar teacher, all I needed to just know where the do, ti, la, so, fa, mi is on the guitar. So for like 2 months I was already done with the guy. When I was learning, I could practice for like 6 to 7 hours, but now maybe like 2 hours. If I'm recording on people's projects, on clients' projects, in the process, I'm doing my rehearsals, finger warm up, because guitar is even worse than a relationship, boyfriend and girlfriend. You need to always keep in touch. Very important is the foundation. If you don't get the foundation right, you're going to struggle as a guitarist. You need to get a very good teacher that gives you the right foundation. If you don't get the foundation right, you're going to float. Because guitar is the hardest instrument. Yeah, because what I'm saying is the hardest instrument. Holding the pick, holding this other side, positioning yourself, trying to pick from one string to another. The learning process is crazy. Your fingertips are going, all this design on your fingers, they're going to clear it off. You'll be seeing guitar string at the tip of your fingers. So the learning process is crazy. Sometimes when I was learning guitar, if I play, I would tell myself, what are you playing? I'm playing rubbish. Because sometimes you have something upstairs beat, the signal from your head to the guitar to achieve it. That's why I said, if you get a very good teacher that helps you teach you, get you the foundation right, so that you just follow the proper step, to be easier for you. If not, you're going to be floating. Okay, because of my experience, that's why I said foundation is very important. I know the theory. I know my theory very well. If I listen, I can listen and write. I can listen to any music. I don't need to carry guitar and say, okay, let me find that sound. Yes, I can listen and analyze the music. I can interpret it with biro before I even get to the guitar. That's understanding what you hear first, analysis. Then get to guitar, I can actually play very well, understand what I want to achieve. So between your analysis and real-time playing, to help you a lot to interpret anything. So once I get any project, with my live band experience, I've played in live band for like 10 years. So I came across almost all genre of music, jazz, R&B, rock. So you have different singers that sing different songs. You as an instrumentalist, you have to just score them. So with this experience, if I hear any song, a song might just have like 3 genres of music on a track. You know, Nigerian music and other people, they have to incorporate different genres of music to a particular track. So by then, I'll just analyze the music first. Then I try to identify different genres of music inside one track. Then I'll know how to approach. Then I'll now incorporate all this genre inside that song to bring the color out. So that when you listen to the song, if you listen to the guitar, there are some part that sounds like R&B, this part sounds like rock. So you'll be able to bring some rock feel and R&B feel in each of these parts. By so you are interpreting the song very well, then you'll be able to satisfy the artist and the producer. Because some of these artists and producers, they're not with me, they trust me, they just send it to my email. So now I'm here trying to make sure that I interpret the mind of the artist and the producer. So, but thank God the experience has been so good. The feedback, wow, you killed this one, no be you, back to back is a hit. So at least that's why I said the experience and your foundation is very, very important. Okay, my first song that gave me the break was Scapegoat, and this is how it came about. I won Star Quest 2008, Nigerian Breweries Star, the reality show with my group Star Quest 2008. So we signed to Kenny's Music 2009. So Kenny, Baba Keke took us to one Sentage Superstar reality show where Mijin came out from, that one. So the opening of that event, there was no band set up for band, and my group was live band, Star Quest. So I just went with the guitar. I was so that I would be able to play for my group, because for us to sing, we don't have a song. We never had a song then. So I just played the guitar. We tried to perform with the song we sang in the house. So that was where somebody got my number, Bankuli. He used to work with Mohit then. So Bankuli took my number. He was with Yemi Sachs then. So he now called me after 4 months. Where are you? I said, okay, I'm somewhere so place. He now said, okay, can you come to Maryland? That was where Don Jazzy and the band. I didn't even know I was going there. I didn't even know who he was then. They actually called a guitarist, but he was far away from home and he couldn't go back home to get his guitar. So he now remember, oh, there's one guy, I collected his number. That was where I got to Maryland. And I recorded Scapegoat, the guitar on Scapegoat. That was my first major hit project. I've already been recording with gospel artists in Warri, because I stayed in Warri then. So I had the confidence in recording in the studio first. So when I got there, I actually guitar started that project. There was no song on Scapegoat. I just, okay, Don Jazzy said, do you have any creativity? Like, because me as a guitarist, you must create something. So, okay, this is actually what I created. Okay, I said, okay, I have something. They just gave me metronome, bam, bam, bam. I just recorded that guitar. So it was my guitar they used to make beats. And they created a song, or wrote a song on. So guitar started that project. So after like 6 months, they said, oh, come hear the song. They now played the song for me. The guitar, it was just guitar, and I hate beats, then the song, Scapegoat, was on the song. So it was great. Once you hear produced by, they don't care about other elements in the production. So the producer tends to take the credit, and you know, Africans who don't really understand the industry so well. So we try to push ourselves. Then the industry people actually knew I was a guitarist, but you, the fans and the audience, didn't know. They only know it produced by Don Jazzy, but they could hear guitar. So I started making my own noise. If people don't promote you, promote yourself. I was the one that played guitar on this. That's how Davido contacted me for Gobe. I played for Gobe. Before you know, Davido, on my birthday, I think, then Twitter was hot. Davido now tweeted, shout out to the best guitarist, because I played guitar on Scapegoat. So people started paying attention to that. Then we now worked on Woju. Me and DJ Kublon did Woju for the Kiss Daniel. That was his first single, and that was a hit. So the press release was, the article they wrote is, okay, guitarist Fioki team up with DJ Kublon. Okay, DJ Kublon team up with Fioki, the guitarist on Scapegoat. So they now made reference to my previous project. So people didn't actually know I was the guitarist on Scapegoat. So that credit was, I got credit for Woju and still made reference to my previous project, which was Scapegoat. So that's when the Woju became a hit song. Everybody started looking for Fioki. That's how my brand started coming up. People started giving me credits. Oh, produced by this, guitar by Fioki. Yeah, no, Don Jazzy, if you work with Don Jazzy, he doesn't take advantage of any. My experience with Don Jazzy has never been any problem. Since then, I've worked with him. I never had any problem with Don Jazzy. Yeah, Davido still paid me too. I have some other people that took advantage of me. I don't want to mention their names. They can't do that now. It's already past. These are the things you see when you're growing up in the industry. So I see them as opportunists. They never stop me from where I'm supposed to be. So they can't even try that now. If they come to me, they have to respect themselves, because my lawyer will call them. I don't do physical fight, I do legal fight now. My brother, no be for my mouth, you won't hear say Beyonce na Isoko. They should come to my email. I have contacts because I'm always considerate when it comes to upcoming artists. Some I do business. I do business because sometimes if that song blows down, will you come and pay me? Some, because with the industry, we don't really have a structure whereby you say let's have what they call split sheet paperwork. But we are growing into that level now. I have a lawyer. Some people I do split sheet with them. Paperwork, we pay me less. I get percentage from your sales and all that, royalties and all that. So paperwork is actually we are growing, sha. Yeah, I'm getting royalties. It might not be too much, but sleeping and waking up after every quarter, you say, okay, this is what you get from what you signed. Gives you gives you hope that the industry is actually making progress. When I went for Star Quest reality show, when we won Star Quest, and I was okay, because then in school it used to be 50-50. I'll go to class to read, come back by 1 a.m. I'll play guitar till like 4, wake up by 6. So, and school then, guitar then was fetching for my school, so I needed to hustle, pay for my school fees. Sometimes I could even travel for like 2 weeks out of school to Benin, Port Harcourt to go and work, because I was doing 50-50. Because if you no hustle, you no go job, you no go pay bills. So, but we thank God for the for talent. If not for talent, where we go there. Relationship with the artist. If they send you a project to my email, send the project to my email, okay, Fioki, when can you deliver this? How much is your charge? When can you deliver the project? If I tell you next tomorrow, I can give you a job tomorrow, before that next tomorrow. So you'll be, wow. Timing, integrity, relationship. The other thing is understanding your craft. The difference between studio and stage. On stage, I've been playing with the band for 4 years as the band guitarist. I've been playing with a band for 10 years before I joined the band 2010. Left the band 2014, joined Flavor till date. So I understand what to do on stage and what to do in the studio. In the studio, you are limited to so many things because you have artists singing, producer already played so many things. The music is already crowded. As a guitarist, if they give you a song, if you are trying to play too much, you are going to make noise, even overshadow the artist. So, but that's why some artists, I remember a song I played, I never knew the artist actually brought a guitarist before. They actually moved it. So when they released the song, the guy said, Baba, we played guitar for this song before. How come they put you? You get what I'm saying? It's not my fault, because maybe they didn't interpret the song well. In the studio, you should be able to know when to rest, when to play rhythm, when to do call and response, when to do signature tune. That if you don't listen to the artist, there's a particular instrument you listen to, but you need to know your choice of tone, the character, the command in your plug, the confidence in your notes, then the choice of your melody and your dynamics. There are so many things involved, you don't just play. So those are the things the artists consider when they call me on that project. So if you give me 1 million projects now, I approach them 1 million ways, because I don't do fluke. I don't play by guesswork, I play with understanding. Sometimes I keep telling this artist, are you sure? You sure say you record this your song well? Because if I put my own now, it go be like saying, I mean, go shine past you. Because I don't play with fluke, I play with understanding. So some of these artists, they don't even know music. So I use them, they shine. I use them, they play. Some job are just cheap because of the experience. So I didn't even come with to play. I know what I'm doing. Now, Nigerian music is not my target now. I've already conquered the industry. I've conquered the industry in the sense that in the next 10 years, Nigerian music is still going to grow to the level of what we have understood in music. In the next 10 years, I'm telling you, Nigerian music is growing. We're already 10 years ahead. You get what I'm saying? So I'm not going to like float, say, okay, oh, there's a level of where industry has gotten to that I can't meet up. Rather, they are growing to meet us where we already are. People like Mastercraft can tell you. Mastercraft is one of the producers that till tomorrow, all these boys will come. They can rain and go. But see Mastercraft, Kublon, and very few producers that play instruments. They have so much depth. We are deeper than what you guys just see outside. My next project is going to be with Mastercraft, Fioki and Mastercraft. I'm not featuring any artist, but trust me, it's going to rock. Afrobeat. Nobody's singing. But I'm telling you, it's going to be on the same level with artists singing. You feel like I'm playing to a song. So that's the idea. So I'm trying to gather projects. Simi is writing for me for a project. I'm going to work with her. Runtown has a beat, but he hasn't recorded yet. Kizdani, they are all responding. Yemi Alade has already recorded one track for me. So I met Davido. I went to his house because I know everybody. I can decide to go to the house. Nobody say, who are you? So I spoke to him about this project. Davido is a very nice guy. And he said, okay, no, I'll Fioki. And he actually did the song. He brought Peruzzi on board too. I have a song with Flavor, very connected. So then Ricardo Banks and Tiwa too, they came to, they collaborated on Like. So these are the artists that started the Fioki project for me. I really appreciate them for the platform, because doing song with them actually means that they are gave me the platform to be able to tap from their fan base. No. At my age, I was in the industry before these boys. So I was here in the industry before the boys. The only difference is they are artists. They sing. In this part of the industry, they don't really appreciate people that play instruments. But if you put me, musician, if you put me on stage with these boys, them no go see my back. Them said no. You know what I'm saying? They know very well. I once started in 2008. Wizkid was signed to EMI. He released album 2010. You know what I'm saying? Kizdani and all these boys, they came out yesterday, but I still respect them. I know my lane. I respect the fact that they have a platform. You know, so if you look for something, you got to humble yourself. Age is just number. These guys are big brands, so I put age aside when I'm dealing with them. I deal with them, okay, we are the big brand, but deep down inside them, they know that, okay, waiting Fioki gets. If to say that they appreciate musicians the way it's supposed to be, we're supposed to be at the same level or a big part. Your foundation is very important. So many guitarists, young guitarists, they tag me on Instagram, they send me a message. So I beg, check what I post. I go to that page, I could see that. You know, sometimes when you are talking, you see stammer, like a small baby. When you are talking, you don't even really speak well. Some of them, that's how they play. You could see that they don't have grip, they don't even spell their notes well. You could see that they are floating. Some of them, they only do solo. But you know, when you build a house, if your foundation is not strong, if a strong wind comes, it will push it away, right? So now some of them, they are playing notes. I try to relate what they are playing with the background, with the chord progression. They don't relate. Then from there, I could see that, okay, they don't even understand the relationship between chord and scale. They're just playing melody. So what my advice for them is, as an upcoming artist, you are very lucky. You have YouTube, you can just type anything. Relationship between scale and notes. Each chord has a scale that assigned to them. And they have, when you're improvising, they have duration, they switch. As you switch from chord, the scale switches too. So get your foundation right, listen and analyze. You get what I'm saying? If you listen to anything, make sure you analyze, ask yourself, why did this person do this? Then know your chords very well. Listen to all genre of music, both gospel and secular. Don't limit yourself. As long as you're not singing, you know, be one person. They say, why they listen to secular music? If I had listened to that, I wouldn't have been where I am. I know church, I know secular, I know everywhere. I listen to keyboard, trumpet, even horn, car horn, but I can pick notes. I can pick anything from any sound. You don't limit yourself to just guitar sound. So that's my advice to upcoming artists.
My name is Ifan Ojide. I'm the father to Ada Jessica. Police they killed her without no reason, and she's my love. I love her so much, and all I need is justice. I know many people have said something, do something, do something concerning the matter. But all I need is justice. I am not happy. I am not happy. My family are not happy. Although we have spoken to IGS today, which I know the commissioner is coming here today. But all I need is justice. To train a girl that way up to that level, and the next thing, death came without no reason from police. And that must do something. I'm not happy. And like this, I force myself to speak because since then I never eat, and there's no happiness, no joy, no appetite to talk. So you guys must do something. All I need is justice. Nigeria must do something. Let this killing stop. That's all I want, and I'm waiting on them to this is my second, the one that is dead, senior this one. But you can see we are not happy. So that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Before I'm a step son, I train her when you did for 6 years. And take care of her this age when it is. Like on Friday, he call me for phone. Say one of your friends, they for Ajigule because you know they live in Ajigule again. Say you get accident, say that they call and say the money when you did your hand no go reach for the hospital bill. So make I give one of my son and me go find the hospital when they go give them. I say you when you dey for they come begin they call you when you dey come you come pay money. Say I beg make I find money give them, make they go pay the hospital bill. True, madam and son come and give her the 6,000 to make go join them for them. They go pay the money. So true now that on Friday now I won't go vigil. So I can't go house from my market. As I reach here, I say, you give me my money because you dey far place. They go call you say you call you laugh, you can't give me the money for this thing. I got to say don't go. I don't know the next day, the following morning, as I go vigil compound, they sleep. I will sleep around 10 o'clock. I say make I go shop back. As I reach there, my daughter, when he did for Benin, they serve. I just call me. Say, mommy, they cry. They shoot him out. I say, which can you got cut call? I said, cut call. I say, I call the call and back. He nobody pick the call again. I call begin call that son when they shoot. So I call on the phone. They ring, but he no pick. I call begin the worry. Say, what you got? I been a true night. This girl they talk. I call my daughter back. They call and tell me, say, mommy, no problem. They don't settle everything. I see they don't settle everything. Now you call me for nonsense thing. That throughout that Saturday, I begin the worry. They call. Nobody agree. Pick. I go meet this my sister. And band decide the day. I call the tell her, see what I hear. Whether not true, I don't know. Because you can make you call person when you know say you get closer to her well. Maybe they hide and make her know hear everything. So that one I can't call and call pick. But then they say no problem. I say okay. But I hear so thing, I say no wahala. I no get myself. I can't go back house. I still dey continue to dey call. I call the boy back. Say I hear say so thing happen with the hand, and he say na true. But they say make you no tell me. Say na hand, na they shoot am, but say don't dey okay. I say okay, if you say don't dey okay, no problem. Don't dey okay, no problem. I don't want to tell him papa because if I tell him papa worry go pass my hand. I say as he say he dey okay, no problem. So Sunday morning I go church. I say okay. I call him brother say no, that one self no green answer me too. So as I don't talk to this boy, they tell him say if you no call me, I go big worry. Make you notice say I dey see the worry even though you no tell me. I don't come. I call him call pick and say make I no worry. Say he dey hospital. Say they dey treat and they don't comot the bullet from him head. Say you no tell me the place when they drown. Say they don't comot the bullet. Say they don't comot the bullet. Say everything dey okay now. I say okay, give her phone make her follow and he say they give her just eat sleep. It's okay. I will come to, if you say you do okay, I will come. So the following day, I can go meet her for the hospital. That was Sunday morning, I can't go there. So I got sent true. They don't remove the bullet, they put the bandage here. We don't discharge her from the hospital. That's why we see chance to go here. We are crossing the parents of the every morning, every evening like that, so people go they run. They go they shoot. They go they run. Pack people for downfall, go drop them 5,000, 10,000, 15,000. They go release that tomorrow when you see that person for road again, you go see carry them again.
My name is Juliana Ikude. The boy is a step son to my elder sister. So the other advice I will advise Nigerians to do over is for them to do their normal duty, not to go out and start raiding people, innocent souls. And when they pick them, they will collect money for their hand and collect their phones and to start shooting anyhow. That government should try so that they focus on their duty, not to be embarrassing people in the public.
Very few of you are in the habit of bringing down the hardworking police officers by your actions or your inactions. It is for these reasons that with a deep sense of professional concern that I visit you here in Lagos State Command to address you on the state of affairs for the past few weeks. If you can remember, from January till this month of April 2019, Lagos State has recorded 4 incidents of misuse of firearms which have resulted in extrajudicial killing of young citizens of this country and injury to others. It's an unacceptable anomaly that creates distrust and disdain between the citizens and their police and widens the trust gap between them. Unfortunately, all the recent incidents of misuse of firearms in Lagos State violated these provisions. Our visit to Lagos State today is therefore designed to make a number of clear statements. First is condole the families of victims of the recent incidents of misuse of firearms or other forms of abuse of power by identified police personnel in the state and to share in their grief. Second is to reassure citizens that as an institution, the Nigerian police does not and will never condone any form of abuse of power, acts resulting in misuse of firearms, overzealousness, and sundry unprofessional conduct by any member of the force, regardless of his or her rank or position.
My name is Waje. I'm a musician, an actor, songwriter, a director of a media company called Jimenez Media, and in Nigeria. Actually, music found me. I've always been affiliated to music. I come from a musically inclined family. My mom's immediate younger brother is or was a renowned artist in the 90s and in the 80s in the UK, Ben Okafor. And then when I was much younger in secondary school, I was on scholarship because of my voice. So it was only natural that I would gravitate towards music. And then years later, I met P Square. We did a song together, Do Me, and then a platform called Advance Warning wanted to, or rather, an OAP, a kind person. They started. Advance Warning is a competition for young artists, for budding artists, and a kind person went and filled the form for me and submitted it, and they called me, and I came out top 3. And then music, the journey so far, I'm still here. I will tell you that I'm a conscious artist, so it's sort of like Afro classic, if I can say that, or Afro soul, or alternative, Afro alternative, or whatever. But I'm not usually big on genres. For me, it's really just about how you make people feel, and I have done quite a number of genres, from R&B to soul music, to Afrobeat. So I usually don't like to box myself. So I just rather use the term conscious. Well, my ritual varies. Sometimes I get into that zone where, okay, I listen to a melody and then I'm writing towards it. There are times when it's just me first thing in the morning, and maybe I'm in the bathroom or there's something going on, and next thing I have inspiration to write something, or a melody comes, So I don't know if there's one routine that I have. I just know that I allow myself to be free just in case anything happens. Thank God for technology. So these days we have phones, so once that melody comes, you quickly put record on voice note, and then you record so you don't forget. You know what I mean? So it varies really. It was an amazing album. People really loved the album. It was one of the best albums that came out that year. It had 4 nominations in the World Music Awards, so it really did well, and I'm grateful to God that it did. It surpassed it, actually, because it was my first album, even though I knew that there was a demand for the brand and the album. But yes, it did surpass my expectations. Well, let's be honest, it's not really an album community anymore. It's just really about making sure that you are consistently giving people music, and whether it's an EP or an album or a single, the keyword is being consistent. So usually when people say, 5 years after, I'm like, it's not that deep. Yeah. Well, there was a need, yes. The Red Velvet was actually done at 2016, but I just didn't feel that the market was ready for an album yet. And I was doing so much. I was on The Voice 2016 and 17. Yeah, so there were so many things going on at the time for me professionally, collaborating with a lot of brands and all of that. So I just thought that people weren't ready. And I was releasing singles and doing a lot of collaborations. So, and eventually when the time came, I just thought, okay, it's now is the nice time to, especially because we as creatives, we outgrow our products, even though we shouldn't, but sometimes we outgrow it. So I was beginning to outgrow it because I already had an EP that I had already. I was like, okay, I'm not going to release this album, let me do the EP. And then my management was like, no, Ajay, put out this album. It's a great album. It's really, you put in a lot of work, so you should release it. And I said, okay, I'll do what you guys say. So when you're making a cake, right, there are different
different ingredients. When you're making something, there are different ingredients that make it worth it. You know, there are ingredients that make it sweet. There are ingredients that are sweet, some are sour, but eventually the blend of everything comes out, you know, with a beautiful cake. And I thought the whole process of working on Red Velvet, from my voice not being great, because my voice broke for so long and I was waiting for the voice to come back, but it didn't, but I had to work, you know, to all the hiccups of, you know, finding the right time for studio sessions and staying up late at night and everything that I had to go through, you know, emotionally and physically, just because I wanted to bring out something so beautiful, are the ingredients of why Red Velvet is what it is. It's funny you ask that question because it's actually a love song. You've stolen my heart away, right? And it was written by Johnny Drill, you know, because I don't speak Benin, so I wanted to. Yes, so he wrote that part, and yeah, he wrote the song. Actually, I just kind of co-wrote the song with him, and for some reason, yes, it's the love between a man and a woman, and you know, all that kind of love is sweet. But for some reason, every time I sing that song, the person that I think about is my daughter, because you know, I watch you as you wake each morning, oh my darling, you take my breath away, you know. So every time I listen to, or I'm listening to it, I'm thinking about my daughter. So that's really the history of Udwe. No, it was just, for me, it was just, I'm an indie artist, right? And many times music in itself in the industry is a big budget industry. You know, it's not a 5, 10, 20 million industry. You have to put in, you have to be sure that you have the money. You have to put in a lot of money. And I just thought, oh, maybe it was time for me to just, you know, find the balance and venture into other things rather than just music. So I wasn't saying I was quitting. I only said I needed a break. Oh yes, you're definitely going to see me more and more in the movie industry. I opened a media company with my friend Omaomi, and it's not just movies that I'm acting in. I also want to help other people tell their stories, documentaries, even help young artists, you know, as well. You know, I just felt that it was time for me to not just be a musician alone or an entertainer, but also be a stakeholder and, you know, help other people tell their stories. And what's the best way than to collaborate with artists like yourself, creative people like yourself, because you know, the Africa is emerging, and you know, we're getting to a space where the whole world is focusing on us right now, and we have to be in a position where we create, you know, opportunities for ourselves rather than waiting for people to create those opportunities for us. Yeah, yeah. I wish that I didn't have a heart. In a only stone filled deep inside. I didn't have a heart. I wish that I didn't have a heart. Now only stone filled deep inside. I didn't have a heart.
My name be Ishmael Ogunbowale. I dey here for Sahara TV. They introduce to you the holy Dr. Injakore Dameji.
Welcome to the show. My name is Dr. Dameji. So coming to you from the greatest city in the world,
New York City.
Yes. New York City is so great, that our mayor declared a public health emergency. Over measles. Can you believe that?
You. An announcement from Mayor de Blasio about the growing measles outbreak in Brooklyn, centered in the Orthodox Jewish community.
It follows a health department crackdown on religious schools that allow unvaccinated students to attend classes.
Wow! Yeah. Measles. Is that not a disease that we conquered in Africa some 1900? You know what I mean?
Long time.
Remember how we were given vaccination when we were in school?
Local vaccination.
You remember that? Yeah. Well, the disease is here in New York City. In fact, it is an epidemic.
What?
Listen.
Public health emergency has been declared here in Williamsburg due to the measles crisis. It is now required here to get a vaccine, or you could face a $1,000 fine.
Wow. do you know why it is happening?
Why?
Because some very, very smart people have refused to vaccinate their children.
Smart people.
Very smart people. They got vaccinated themselves, but they say their children, nah. They see vaccination as government's way of trying to control the population of their people.
What?
No. You see, I used to laugh at conspiracy theories like that one, until this week when I heard President Trump say this.
Can't take you anymore. Whether it's asylum, whether it's anything you want, it's illegal immigration, can't take you anymore. We can't take you. Our country is full.
Trump.
America is full. America is full. Did you know that? I didn't know that.
I didn't know.
This is scary, no? Very soon we won't have a place to run to avoid the Kardashians. You know what I mean? So what are we going to do? Let's hear Trump and know what is the solution to that problem. Let's hear Trump.
Our area is full. The sector is full. Can't take you anymore. I'm sorry. Can't happen. So turn around. That's the way it is.
We cannot take you anymore. We cannot take you anymore. No.
It's full.
So turn around. Go to Canada. Now the only problem with the idea, the problem with the idea of going to Canada, if you're coming from the southern part of America, is that you have to go through the United States before you get to Canada. You see? You see, obviously, men like Trump do not understand the scientific process called osmosis. Do you know osmosis?
Osmosis, yes.
Yeah, osmosis, yeah.
He doesn't even know diffusion.
You can.
Not to talk of osmosis.
There's no word that can stop osmosis. You know what I mean? Talking of things that we need to stop. We need to stop making fun of Floyd Mayweather. You know the guy? That retired boxer who went undefeated. 50-0.
5-0?
Yeah, 55. Yeah, he was undefeated. When he sleeps with his money, like this one.
Wow.
Or when he carries his money around, or when he shows off his cars or his wristwatches, we make fun of him. Guess what?
What?
It can happen to you and I.
Hey!
The reason why it has not happened is because we have not made that kind of money.
Money means
I don't blame him. Why did I say that?
The way it is that when you first start business, your target is to make your first million. You know, okay, fine, I did that. But after a year or so, I realized that, look, I have much more than 12, 13 billion, and I say, okay, fine, all these numbers are just written numbers, and...
I thought it's only me that things like this happen to. To look at the numbers and wonder, are they real?
Are they real?
I don't know if it has happened to you. I look at my bank statement sometimes and I see red ink. What? Or sometimes I see negative sign, minus sign in front of the figure. Things like that, Anyway, so what did Dangote do?
What did he do?
Let's listen to him.
$10 million
from the bank?
Yes,
and took it?
I put it in the boot of my vehicle, and I went home, and I opened it, and I look at 10 million. I said, that, okay, fine, now I believe I have money.
My question is, how is it different from what Floyd Mayweather does? You know what I mean? Carrying money around. How is it different? Maybe that was actually the reason why the Bullion vans. The reason why the money came there. People didn't understand it. The man wanted to look at his money and make sure that is it your money. He wanted to look at it and make sure that it's real.
I don't blame you. Come on.
Anyway, and I used to think that Floyd was crazy.
He wasn't.
I didn't know that it will eventually happen to you and I.
Yes. You have to protect your territory.
When you get there.
Yes.
When we get there. Now type IMM if you want to get there with us.
Hey,
I'm going to go to YouTube comments this week and go through all the people that typed MN. And I will forward it to God.
Yes.
And you know what that means?
Yes.
So make sure yours is there, or else you miss out.
Wait, doctor. Are you
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 miss
starting
out.
his church?
I'm just telling you, there's something going on.
It's beginning to
Stop.
man!
Talking of God and the mantle of heaven and prosperity.
Hey.
This week, the man of God, Pastor Ayo Orisojafo.
Oh, Bros Ayo.
He received a humiliation.
What?
Oh, terrible.
The former CAN president?
Yep. You remember him? President Goodluck Jonathan's right-hand man of God.
Yes.
You know? Whose private jet was used to carry millions of dollars to South Africa to buy arms. You remember?
Yes, I know.
Did we ever get back that money?
He's lost forever.
Do you know?
South Africa is it's gone with the
Did
wind.
Zuma go home with the money? Anyway, since Jonathan left office, the man of God has fallen on tough times. He gave out his private jet to be used as kabu when it became difficult to maintain the plane. You know, who will blame him? Recently, he came to America to rebuild his ministry. And he had a very good idea of how to do it.
Okay, how do you do it?
Watch.
I want 90 persons. 90 persons who will give $5,000.
That's genius.
Genius, you know, the man of God wanted just 90 people to give him $5,000 each.
Only.
And he will go home with $450,000 tax-free. That is more than the money that those robbers at United Arab Emirates were aiming for in that operation. More than that money, you know? Is it the same? No, it's different.
If I did he get it?
So what do those 90 people get in return?
What?
Let's listen to the man.
Come here. 90 persons. I'm going to give you one of these mantles.
I know. I mean, you think about that. It's worth it. Mantle to heaven. You know, I guess he wanted to bring the ladder to heaven, but it's too big to carry the ladder from Edo State to America. You know what I mean? So that makes sense. That's an alternative. The mantle.
Doctor, are you sure you're not in the wrong profession?
So exactly, that's what I'm thinking. So how did it work out for the man of God?
We don't know.
Let's watch.
I'm telling you, if you believe I'm a man of God, God sent me, and I'm not doing this of my own will. Fall! Get out of your seat! Get out of your seat now! Get out of your seat quickly! Come on! Come on!
Now, that was not a good sign. The man of God was sweating and yelling.
Yes.
Oh boy, everything in that work, including hustle for heaven. It's watch again.
Don't be amongst those that miss God! Don't miss God now! Not now! Not now! Not now! Don't miss God!
Not now! Not now! Not now! Unfortunately for Pastor Ayo Orisojafo, the pockets of his church members were also screaming in their ears. Not now! Not now! Obviously, the man of God did not know that the median savings account balance of average American household is only $4,830.
Shy of 5,000.
That is what is there.
Yes.
So where would they find 5,000 to give the man of God?
No, it came over the taxes, that's why.
The heart may be willing, but the pocket is saying, no respect, no disrespect, bro. But we ain't got it.
We got you.
We ain't got it.
We got you.
See, I'll tell them, read This American Life. They won't read it.
Yes.
They won't read it.
If you have read it before you came.
They just enter the plane and land in America.
Boom. Wrongest place.
And then boom, and they think this is Nigeria.
Wrongest
See your
place
life.
for a fraud.
See your life, See your life. Anyway, guess what? The man of God yelled and yelled and yelled. And it paid off. Eventually, 85 people came out.
25.
And they said they will give him $5,000.
Wow!
Watch.
What do I have here? You have an idea? I have about 85. I have about 85.
I know.
Doctor,
Can you believe that?
Seriously, I need to reconsider.
This job we're doing in one day.
Yes.
Kids, let this be a lesson to you all. Whatever you are selling, if you stick to it, even when it doesn't make sense, you will eventually get 5% of people to buy it. And that's all you need in this life. Something 5% of people will buy.
Yes.
That theory works in every occasion.
Yes.
Except for election time. I tell you, elections have consequences. The people of Zamfara have continued to experience mass slaughter of their citizens. 20 did today, 40 tomorrow, 80 the day after tomorrow.
Bandits.
It got to a point where journalist Kadire Ahmed had to take off the gown of independent journalist and put on the armor of an advocate. I say bravo. That's
our sister.
What?
We're here to tell the government and those that are in charge of security that Zamfara lives matter. Every time there are issues in other places, we come out, we protest, we march. And now that it is right at our own doorstep, we have to also come out and protest and march. Our people are being killed like they're flies, and it doesn't seem to matter to anybody. So that's why we're here, and that's why we're marching.
I know. I say, hey, yeah, definitely. Zamfara lives matter.
Hey!
Do they actually have a government there? Do you know? Let's ask her what she thinks about the government.
He is the most useless governor in the history of Nigeria. This is a governor whose reaction to the killings in his state was to resign as chief security officer.
Oh yes.
He went on the record to say that he cannot be chief security officer.
Yes.
So I don't know what he's still doing in office.
Yeah. You see, what? The most useless governor in the history of Nigeria. That's what he said. Please show us in the picture of that governor.
Wow,
yeah.
Dr. Yari.
I think we should first of all stop the killings. You know what I mean? We have to find a way to stop it. If it's mining that is causing it, stop it. And then after that, we have a serious conversation about some of these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the root cause.
The man said he has no control of the police and the army. As such, he could not pretend to be the chief security officer of the state. Is he lying?
Toothless bulldog.
Really? Is he lying?
He's not.
In fact, he spends most of his time in Abuja hiding, just to avoid being killed or kidnapped. I mean, that's the reason why he's doing that.
I know.
Seriously, do you know who controls the police and the military in Zamfara and all of Nigeria? Buhari.
Oh.
Do you know who is Buhari's defense minister? He's from Zamfara.
Zamfara State.
So is Kadire not blaming the wrong person? You know what I mean? Let's hear from her sister. Maybe her sister has a different view. Watch.
Baba, I'm very, very angry. Baba, I love you to the moon and back, but I'm ready to say it the way it is. Baba, you have failed us. Baba, I'm disappointed. Baba, I regret fighting for you. Baba, today I'm crying because my brother, then I kidnappers, and they are demanding from us 200 million. Yes, I should exactly you. Baba, why?
I know. Buhari, why? Baba, walai. You failed us. That was so sad and powerful. You know what? Did she say that her brother was kidnapped?
Yes.
And the kidnappers were asking for 200 million naira.
I know.
Now, that makes the whole thing even sadder.
Wow.
I wish more of our people, will learn to say it the way it is. Every time and everywhere. Injustice happens, not just when we become victims ourselves. You know what I mean? The killings in Kaduna should concern us the same way those in Zamfara should concern us. That's the point. Now, how did Martin Luther King put it? Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. By the way, I hope the next time that Kadira gets the chance to interview Buhari, that she will ask him seriously about how he failed in his primary job, which is to protect lives and properties of Nigerian people, including the people in Zamfara. I hope that next time that Kadira gets the bulb to demonstrate, that it will be about killings in southern Kaduna.
Yes, she's already missed
I hope they will kill again. I hope she will also condemn the governor of that state, El Rufai, for constantly going to pay condolence visit after each killing.
Yes.
Only to repeat the same thing the week after that, the week
Shedding
after
crocodile tears all over.
Doesn't he get tired of going there to pay condolence visit? I hope Kadira finds the courage to call him the second most useless governor in Nigerian history. Is that second or third? where do we put the governor of Kogi State? Kogi State, and Iberibe in the governor in Kogi, and Iberibe in Imo State. Where do you put them? Anyway, more importantly, I hope next time when we talk about restructuring Nigeria, that the people of Zamfara will support state police so that their governor can defend them when the federal government shows little or no concern. I said I hope. I didn't say hold your breath. I said I hope.
Hopefully.
Because he needs to be not just chief executive, but chief security officer.
Yes.
You know, you can't just have one and not have the other one. Anyway, by the way, does he return his security vote because he's no longer the chief? I'm just saying, you know, these are questions. When we stop the killing, we ask these questions. Anyway, forget about state police. Forget about the military. The only thing that can truly save us Africans is the blood of Jesus. Oh yes.
There we go again.
So last week, Imo State Airport was on fire.
On fire!
Now, we don't know what caused the fire. But it's safe to say that it is routine fire. In Nigerian English, we call it fire caused by an act of God. Now, it follows that when you notice such a fire, you call the fire service. And then you do the next most important thing you can do. Kneel down and summon the blood of Jesus. Watch.
Blood of Jesus, blood of Jesus, blood of Jesus. Blood of Jesus, cover us. Blood of Jesus, quench this fire. Blood of Jesus, quench it. Blood of Jesus, quench it. Blood of Jesus.
I know. Hey. You know, some people have been arguing, why did she continue to say blood of Jesus? That one time is enough.
Yes.
You know, you see, they don't have,
calling 911.
they already called 911, but they keep calling the blood of Jesus. You see, the problem is that people don't understand things of the spirit.
Yes.
You know, do you know how many poor people all over the world who are calling for blood of Jesus? All over the world.
Who are on the queue.
Every day summoning the blood of Jesus.
Yes.
A lot. So you have to, even if the blood of Jesus is like Atlantic Ocean, you need to show how urgent your situation is.
Yes.
So that the pipe that brings the blood of Jesus will be focused on you.
Hey! The fire services can't be con. I'm not here, but I just roll that cable.
Yes. Just think of it. These people watched fire trucks come into the place without water to attack the fire. What do you expect them to do?
Blood of Jesus.
That's it. Are you expecting them to quench the fire with their saliva? No. They have to call the blood of Jesus. That's it.
Yes. What?
Africa.
Who did this?
I don't get it. Who did this to us? Which brings us to the segment we call Africa in
Brief.
It has been a while since we updated you on things China is doing in Africa.
I know.
You thought they stopped? Hell no. They did not stop. No, they did not stop. They're everywhere now. In Kenya, China is threatening a trade war with the East African country.
East Africans.
Because the president, Uhuru Kenyatta, you know him.
Chinese invasion.
He banned the importation of fish from China to save the Kenyan fishing industry.
Wow.
Look at the headline.
Wow.
Now, China said that if Kenya fails to lift the ban, that China will abandon the railway project, the last phase of that project. Yeah, they will abandon it.
What?
You know, they are building their rail, just like in Nigeria. China is building everything for them. China said, if you don't lift this ban on the importation of fish from us, we lift it. We will abandon it.
They should write that to America.
We will abandon. America has no interest in building rail. So why Africa's political leaders are in the deep pocket of Chinese people, and their government?
Chinanization of Africa.
A few lawmakers in Africa are putting up a fight. Here is one of such lawmakers in Kenya speaking out. Watch.
10 years, this will be a Chinese colony. Because you cannot talk of political independence when you have no economic independence. Economic independence is the most important thing. Others follow. And we must empower our people and make sure they are protected from unfair competition and mistreatment by people who do not belong here.
The brave one. Hey!
In 10 years, most African countries will become Chinese colonies.
Chinese colonies?
In 10 years. Don't say that nobody warned you. The man warned you now. If you guys do not hear him, at least our ancestors had him.
Go on, ask Sri Lanka.
Exactly. So many countries, Zambia. You know, talking of ancestors, the man that Pastor Aflukazu, you know him, resurrected from the dead, has finally joined our ancestors. Oh yeah, here is the news headline. Wow. It says Elliot dies again, this time for good.
For real? We can't revive him again.
What is good about this dying this time? What's good about it? According to the newspaper, the man died in a village in South Africa after suddenly getting ill. He has since been buried. Now, but don't count him out yet. You know what I mean?
Yes.
The moment Pastor Aflukazu had the young man's death, he rushed to the village to see what he could do. Take a look at the man of God heading to the village.
Greetings to all of you, family. A man of God is finally here. Every time that God wants to deliver a nation, he'll set apart a man, anoint him, and appoint him for that particular assignment. Pastor Aflakau is already here. People have traveled from all over the world, and they have faith. They have come to encounter the God of Aflakau, the God who indeed answers by fire. Family, this is going to be a prophetic service.
Isn't that wonderful? Your president, does he have this kind of convoy? Now, did you see that great things will happen? For me, I won't write this young man off until 3 days after.
I know.
If he doesn't wake up, if he doesn't resurrect, then that may be.
Rose up after
4 days. Okay. So we can give him one more day.
Come on.
Africa, who did this to us? Who did this to us?
Nonsense.
Anyway, Dr. Damages will be a keynote speaker at the annual scholarship fundraising event of the Eba Omo Yoruba of Greater St. Louis, Missouri, on Saturday, May 18th, 2019. Now, if you live in that area, come around, let's hang out. Come, anybody Nigerians. Come, let's talk, you know. We can talk about who owns Lagos. Here are some stories making headline news across Nigerian newspapers this week. Mogadishu's only ambulance banned from blast scenes.
What?
BBC. The government gave an instruction that they should never come to any scene where there was a blast.
They don't want to lose it.
Yeah.
The only one.
The only one. Now they have a good reason. They have a good reason for that. And they said that they've decided that the dead should bury the dead, and the injured should join the dead.
The ancestors.
Problem solved.
Come on.
I mean, they have. They don't.
Hey!
Can you imagine that? The only ambulance. You don't come near the blast scene.
Calamity. It makes sense.
Africa. Things happen in Africa. Buhari's last 4 years was discouraging, says Bloomberg newspaper.
Yes.
Now, see Bloomberg. Yeah, you guys don't worry. Don't worry. Unlike America, in Africa, we make people repeat a class that they failed. That's what he's doing now. Buhari is repeating. That's what Shobo.
Even the third time.
Shobo, Bloomberg, Shobo. If he fails the third time, we let him repeat again.
Yes, he can repeat forever.
Why are they worried about?
The president has already been saying that he can repeat the third time. Nonsense.
Americans, they don't understand Africa.
They don't get it.
Oh, this is good. Federal government spent 731 billion last year on subsidized fuel, petrol. You know. Now, whenever I read about fuel subsidy, I always think about Nigeria's president and petroleum minister Buhari. That he famously said that it was a scam.
Yes.
Does it mean that he's participating in this scam now? You know what I mean? What is he doing? What is the man doing? Nonsense. 780. Can you believe that? Billion.
I know.
Scam.
How was it in the previous administration?
He said, who is subsidizing?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Just imagine.
Who's subsidizing?
He said it's a fraud.
It's a fraud.
If anybody tells and that, if I go in...
Oh, you like this one? Buhari is talking. He says, I am the unhappiest leader in the world. I say, hey, yeah. Doesn't he know that he could do something about that? You know, one, he could just write a one paragraph letter, you know, saying that I, Buhari, I wish to quit this position. And that's a chicken. Or he will do this easy one. Hire a minister of happiness.
Hey!
I mean, that's it. Everything will be okay.
Amazing.
Land. No, the template is there already. Why is Buhari just complaining? You have the solution. Write a letter, resign, or hire a minister of happiness. So we can actually help Buhari, give him a minister for happiness.
Yes.
Maybe e-money.
Yeah, e-money.
Or the videos Chioma. You know, any of those.
Or Osh Poppy.
Or
Buffers.
Who is that?
Or we can send the noisemaker to go and make it.
Or the noisemaker can get that job. And Buhari will be happy, you know?
I'm telling you.
Yes, exactly.
Nonsense. Next. South Africa. Poacher killed by elephants.
What?
Then eaten by lions.
Double tragedy.
Now, this is one of these things fella was talking about. Double wahala for them.
But
You know what I mean?
Dichotomy of tragedy.
Double wahala. Can you believe that?
Come on.
Now, if you wonder how these things happen, watch this. I know. We wonder sometimes why white people do this kind of things. We don't understand that. Do you understand why they do that? I don't get it. Putting your hand in the mouth of the lion. Hey, lion. Lion.
A hungry lion for that matter.
I can get bread. How are you?
I'm
You look tired today.
I am.
Why?
So many prayers.
You see, that's why I don't hang out with bishops and
I know.
If you follow our traditional worshipers and our traditional worshiping system that our great grandfathers left for us, you wake up in the morning, you do the kola nut, give it to your grandfathers, and chew the one you have to chew, and drink gogoro, kai kai, and put the coconut, and move on. You know, like not this one you pray every 5 hours and carry Bible, carry Quran every 4 hours.
Come on.
That's why I follow, I follow my people. Do we have emails today?
Everything, doctor.
Okay, let's hear them.
Okay, so our first email is from Ismail from Zamfara.
Oh, Ismail.
At least someone is still smiling.
Yeah, in Zamfara,
And he writes,
yes.
Hi, doctor.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of your show, and I'm addicted to it.
Thank you.
I want to say that the aftermath of the general elections and the gubernatorial elections, to be very candid, show how divided Nigeria is.
We've been saying it.
And for the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, I want to use this prestigious medium to congratulate him that he is the worst INEC chairman Nigeria has ever had.
Woo! He said it.
Until today, thousands of INEC ad hoc staffs are yet to receive their entitlements.
Oh, yeah?
It is a shame that Professor Mahmood Yakubu was from Danfodio University.
Danfodio.
And the majority of his residential electoral commissioners and returning officers are satanic agents in human skins who are specialized in changing the will of people for material and financial gain.
The man is
INEC
finishing
should
him.
be scraped.
Hey!
And let politicians employ thugs to conduct elections in Nigeria.
Oh,
Please, Dr. Damages, Agege Bread, Noisemaker, Invisible Sasha, please pray for Zamfara. Let's all keep shouting Zamfara so loud and in chorus until it gets into the president's ear. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much. I hear your frustration, about elections in Nigeria. And I believe if nothing is done to reform things, in 8 years' time, politicians and their thugs will be the ones conducting elections. If that is not even happening, if it's not happening already, you know what I mean? And about Zamfara, we've been talking about Zamfara today. Our hearts and our thoughts are with Zamfara people.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We are Zamfara people, Anybody, whatever you can do. Next.
So our second email is from Ozuzu, Alexis.
Oh, Alexis.
And he writes,
Alexis.
Dear Dr. Damages, I'm a very loyal fan of your show.
Wow.
But then it comes as a surprise to me because I'm largely uninterested in Nigerian politics. And I get annoyed whenever I hear news about our politics. But then your show has made it more appealing to me. I can now listen to our politics all the time because of the amazing way you present it.
We try.
Kudos, keep up the good work because I'm sure you've always changed you've changed so many people as you've changed me.
Wow.
I never miss an episode anymore.
Wow, this is
Looking
wonderful.
forward to your next episode.
Okay, you are in it. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for your email. You know, that's what we're trying to do.
Yes.
We're trying to not to burden people with bad stories about
Yeah.
Africa, but find a way to bring the same story that makes them angry to them in a way that they can take it. You know, he got it.
Yes.
Thank you, Thank you, my man.
Yeah.
So next.
Thank you. That's all we have for today.
That's all? Okay.
Yeah.
That's all the time we have for emails. Please keep sending your emails to
drdamages@gmail.com.
and follow us on Twitter at
Dr. Damages.
and on Instagram at
Dr. Damages.
Now here's my concern for today. It's taken from page 419 of the book How I Made It
How You Made
by
It
Jim Rohan.
Hey!
And it says we must all suffer one of two things.
Okay, what
the
is it?
pain of discipline or the pain of regret.
That's so deep. That's deep.
The pain of discipline or the pain of regret.
Sure.
Either you suffer and you discipline yourself and you succeed, or you suffer the pain of regret.
Not suffering enough.
Until next week, I'm Dr. Damages. I diagnose
you yourself.
I have a quick question for
Yes,
you.
yes,
How
yes.
do you get all your
You know this one. Let me tell you this one. I stole this one from the timeline of Adiola Fire. I mean, I go far. I go far.
You went really far.
Yeah, anywhere I have to go. You know what I mean? If I have to go to the INEC Saba, I go there.
Oh my God! You suffer the pain suffer.
Yeah, you have to suffer the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. There's no other option. All right, so I get break. You don't work out like that.
So, doctor, another thing for you is that when are we coming out with books of
the book of we are preparing it. We are yet to get to 365. It's
Yeah.
coming.
You watch it
for today. Yeah,
we are going to be posting it on Amazon.
Amazon.
Yeah.
It has
but
to be
the
there.
one that we are currently have is this American Life.
This American Life says,
Yes.
yeah, people are not. You know what? I will talk to you because you will be the judge.
Mhm.
We are going to give out this American Life says
Yes.
and the Trump book.
Yes.
Wow.
We will announce it next week. What you have to do to win it, and the noise
So
maker
remind
will
us
judge.
where we can find
You'll
those
be the
books on
judge. Yeah,
Amazon.
it will be on Amazon. You know, you go to Amazon.